Well, today's topic is slings, or well, at least the sling that I decided to get. And for my AR, I was looking for a sling. Hadn't really had them much before. Hadn't really used them. And in researching, I debated between single point and double point. Couldn't really decide. And then I realized you could get slings that did both. So I looked around, a couple different options, and the one I finally decided on was the Vickers Combat Application Sling. It's padded, comes both padded and unpadded. I figured if I was going to be carrying this heavy thing around for a while, I might want the padding, so I opted for that. Comes in a couple different colors, black, OD, coyote. And then there's a couple different options for when you buy this that I'll explain at least just a little bit. So the sling itself is here. I got the coyote to match my the hardware of the gun. Comes with 2-inch webbing, padded or 2-inch padded for about 18 inches here, and aside from that, the webbing is 1.25 inches. And the other things I had to buy with this to get it onto the gun or onto the rifle were these swivel point attachments. Now you can buy this sling with these already mounted on there. The problem is the way that I went to attach the sling to the rifle using this. Clearly, which is the TriGlide, as you can tell by the box. Impact Weapons Components, they make what's called a TriGlide. I think some other people make it as well. But that's basically this piece right here. And what this allows you to do is to take the sling from a single point to a double point. And so if you're going to go that route with one of these slings, you need to have these push-button swivel point attachments, but you need to make sure that you don't get the sling with them sewn into it like I did initially, because then you can't get this TriGlide onto there. So, tip for you there. Past that, you then need a few other things to get the sling to attach to the rifle. You need this. I think a couple people make these. This is a Daniel Defense version. Rear receiver carbine swivel attachment point. And basically that's a piece that looks about like this. This is the one that came on the rifle that I took off. But it's, let me show you in back here. It is right back here, the little light on it. So that spot right there, and there's a hole there, and that's where that push button mount on the sling attaches into. So basically, you take this and just goes right in here like this, and now it's mounted in there nice and firmly. Now this does swivel. Get this out of the way. This swivels back and forth, so you can use it right or left-handed. And then this is where that TriGlide comes into play. Because you can take this, and to make this into a single point sling, you take the other one and fit it into the TriGlide. And you now have a single point attachment sling. Like so. Alternatively, if you want to go from single point to a double point, take this out of the TriGlide, and you need to make sure you have some type of mount for this up front. One of the reasons I got this Daniel Defense rail was because I knew it had this attachment point in it. And you can put that right in there. You can also get little small attachments that will mount onto your rail that you can then attach this to. There's also a bunch of different ways you can attach this up front. But if you're going to do the TriGlide route, you really probably need to go with these push-button swivel mounts. This rail has these mounts on both right and left side, so again, if you're right or left-handed, works great. So I think this was just the perfect combination for me for this setup. Now this sling itself, if you want to tighten and loosen it, it is super easy. Basically, there is this tab right here, and basically all you do is you just pull this. If you want to go loosen, pull that back. You've now got a lot of slack in the sling. And to tighten it back up, again, you just grab this, pull it. Couldn't be easier. So it works very well. Price-wise, I think the sling, depending on what configuration you get it, you can get it with these swivel points sewn in, which, as I mentioned, if you're going to do the TriGlide, don't go that route. But I think that's around $80 or so. Getting without the TriGlide or without the swivel point attachments sewn in, I think it's in the 70s somewhere, $69, something like that. So not a cheap sling, but I figured if I was going to be carrying the rifle around for a while, heavy as I've made it, I would want something a little bit padded. So I decided to go with the padded model. And so far so good. Haven't really had a chance to carry the rifle around a whole lot just yet, but I'm looking forward to it. So there you go, the Vickers Combat Application Sling. Check one out.